Before we get into the nitty-gritty of our sound work, let's make sure we fully understand the video formats we're working with. There is a lot to know about video technology, but hey, we're here for sound, not video. So I'll break things down to the key points that will affect you on the audio side of things. When you're working in Pro Tools with video, you're working separately from the master video file, tape, or film. When you finish your work, it'll have to be remarried to the final visual medium. So it's absolutely essential that we keep everything in frame-accurate sync as we lay in our audio. Timecode is the key to making sure everything stays in perfect sync. SMPTE, an acronym for Society of Motion Picture Television Engineers, came up with a way of counting time for visual media called SMPTE timecode. It's laid out the following way. Here up in our main counter, we have it set to timecode, and the fields go like this. We have hours, minutes, seconds, and finally frames. There's several different timecode rates we can work with. The difference in timecode rates comes from how many frames make up a second. Most of our timecode settings are found in the Session Setup dialog window, which is located under Setup, Session. Here on the right, we have our timecode rate, and there are all of our different timecode rates. When we work with film, it's easy. Film runs at a rate of 24 frames per second. We have that setting here. Speaking of celluloid film, people who work with the stuff count time in feet and frames. You can also count feet and frames in the main counter. Set this to feet and frames. There are 15 frames per foot on 35mm film. This is an old school way of working, but I have come across veteran sound designers who still use this as a reference. Video is a little trickier. In North America, we use NTSC video. NTSC, named for National Television System Committee, is the analog television system used in both of North America, South America, and parts of Asia. NTSC video runs at the following rates: 2997 frames per second, 2997 frames per second drop, and 23.976 frames per second. Why these crazy numbers? It has to do with the rate of electricity, scan lines of video, and some other really technical stuff. For now, don't get bogged down with the numbers, just go with it. Don't let it stump you up. Basically, when we convert film to video, it has to be changed to these timecode rates. The drop frame version of the 29.97 rate accounts for real time by effectively cheating. It excludes and skips over 2 frames every minute except for every 10th minute. The net result is that the minutes and seconds field reflect an accurate duration of time. In other words, a drop frame time between 0 and 30 minutes means that a true half hour, 30 minutes, has elapsed. I can show you this here in our timeline. Set our main timeline back to timecode, and here in the sub counter, that's set to minutes and seconds. So if I enter in a value of 30 minutes, you can see that in the sub counter, it's almost exactly 30 minutes. It's only 2 milliseconds off. Very close to real time. If I go back to 29.97 non-drop frame, and I set that to 30 minutes in the timecode field, our sub time counter, which is real time, shows that we're almost 2 full seconds, 1.8 seconds off. So obvious uses of drop frame are broadcast scenarios where timecode needs to reflect a truthful time reference. A lot of video cameras nowadays shoot at a frame rate of 24 frames per second or 24p HD, like film. Again, once this gets imported to video editing software and makes it your way in the NTSC world, it becomes 23.976 frames per second. There's a setting for that in the timecode rate pull-down menu as well. PAL stands for Phase Alternating Line. It's used in Europe, Australia, and many other Asian and African countries. PAL has a nice round frame rate of 25 frames per second. You can set that here in the timecode rate pull-down as well. We also see frame rates of 30 frames per second and 30 frames per second drop. These are way rarer and used only in music or audio-only applications, not with video. Now that we've been talking about timecode, I want to share a little secret. In Pro Tools, as long as you're not syncing your Pro Tools hardware to an external device, and your clock source is internal, as we see here, audio always runs at the same absolute speed, and that's determined by the session sample rate, which is assigned when you make a new session. You can see our session sample rate here is at 48 kilohertz. So the only thing that changes when you alter the timecode settings in this pull-down menu is the playback speed of the video itself and the underlying timing grid of your timeline, the way it counts frames. If you're in grid mode, like we are here, and you zoom way in, you can see these timing grids in the timeline, in the tracks. So the audio doesn't change speeds when you change your timecode rate, just the timing grids. So how do we know what frame rate to use for our project? One thing is to have a really good communication with the video editor and the production team. Also, Pro Tools has an awesome feature that auto-detects the frame rate of video you've imported. Let me zoom out and we can see our video track. On the left of our video track, we have some numbers. This says 23.98 frames per second. That's rounded up from 23.976. You can also see that these numbers are red. When the numbers are red, it means that our Pro Tools session is not accurately referencing the timecode rate of this imported video. So if we go here in the session setup window and we change it to 23.976, the numbers become white and everything's happy. We're back in sync with the video. Just to be even more sure, we should always have the video editor include sync pops. This is one frame of tone along with a corresponding frame of video. If I zoom in here, it's pretty common to do this on a flash frame of the number 2 as a countdown. So it goes 4, 3, 2, and 2 is one frame long. You can see we have a corresponding beep that corresponds with the frame 2. I'll play it and we can see what this looks like. That ensures that we're in sync and we're referencing the right timecode rate. SMPTE timecode and the different frame rates make up some of the terminology and concepts we'll be dealing with as we work on video in Pro Tools. As you can see, Pro Tools has all of its bases covered when it comes to this complex integration with video.